Oh, what's up, everybody? How are we doing tonight? We got a lot to get into with Kicking It with Kunkel. Got to get in the middle for all the vertical watchers. Do people watch on the vertical one on YouTube? There's the horizontal one, and then there's the vertical one now that they do. I noticed that it does well post game when I'm on the field with the Texans. Maybe because people are in the cars, people are moving around, doing whatever it is that they're doing, so they're watching there. But I'm just kind of curious. Maybe at this time of night, maybe not so much. Rocking Northwestern tonight. Told Nico Collins Northwestern's about to beat that ass against Michigan. And then I said, I got to talk my smack now because that's when we do our best smack talking is prior to the game. Once the game starts, it's a little bit more quiet on my end. I'm like the Jaguars playing the Texans. The first quarter, I can get a little lippy. I get a little mouthy. But then as the game goes on, I get a little bit more quiet when it's Northwestern versus Michigan for obvious reasons. We've had some good years. Gone to the Big Ten championship a couple times in recent years, unable to beat Ohio State in both those games, but whatever. Nonetheless, neither here nor there. Thanks for tuning in to Kicking It with Kunkel. I appreciate all the subscribers. If you're watching on X or on Facebook, do me a solid. Just go on over to YouTube because that's where it's at for me. That's where I get the most help. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the subscribes, the likes, the comments, everything. Like there's a lot more comments in recent days. It's been a blast kind of going back and forth with some people. All, no arguments really. I think most of the viewers here know ball, honestly. I think when you guys hit up the super chat, you all have some really good things to say. And if you want to get involved, hit up that. Are we frozen again? Here. Okay. Welcome back. Hit up that super chat and you have a chance to enter yourself for a chance to win a bottle of Socorro fine ass tequila, top shelf tequila. They've got our Blanco, they got a Reposado, they got an Anejo. It is legit. It is good. It is 100% blue agave. It's additive free. It's not like that Casamigos junk where they add all this stuff, tell you they're not adding stuff, and they are adding stuff. Like Socorro is the real deal. So go check them out. Buy yourself a bottle or hit up the super chat and have a chance to win a free bottle. There's a lot to get into tonight, and we talked to D'Amico Ryans and Davis Mills today. Obviously, CJ Stroud is out. Jalen Petrie is out. It looks like Ed Ingram is back, and Titus Howard is going to be back as well. Talk to Titus Howard in the locker room. We'll get to that interview. Briefly talk to Will Anderson and also Nico Collins. Nico Collins, I thought, had a really cool answer to a question that I kind of knew where he was going to go with it because of the kind of human being that he is. But when he's not getting his targets, how does he approach being like, guys, like I need to get the ball here. Like I'm the best playmaker on this team. Throw the ball my direction. And he had a really good answer for it. It wasn't a boring answer. It wasn't a plain old same old answer. It was a good answer. And I recommend that if anybody in here is a coach or has kids that are trying to be wide receivers, you listen to the answer as well. So the biggest question for me going into this Titans game is who the hell is going to be the offensive line? I think it should be obvious. But with that being said, it was obvious that you don't start City So, and the Texans started City So. So I think it's now fair that we kind of question everything in the middle of the week. We question everything as the season goes because the coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball, I'm trying to center myself up on this daggone vertical. Just to help me out, camera. Thank you. I think I did it. So I think it is fair that we now question all the decision-making on the offensive side of the ball. If it wasn't because Woody Marks wasn't getting enough snaps, we're still not seeing enough Jalen Noel. Where the hell is Jaden Higgins? And then sometimes like Nico Collins doesn't get a single target in the second half of the 49ers. No, who was before the Broncos game. And then they decide to start City So. And you start City So, and then you pull him after 9 snaps. And I said this on a previous episode. Do they deserve more credit for pulling him at 9 or more criticism for starting him? And I think far and away, yes, kudos to ending that experiment quickly. But far and away, you deserve more criticism because it was such a bad decision that it only lasted 9 plays. It's almost like they had the wrong name. They had wait, that guy? I thought you meant this guy. It's like they went into it and they had no idea what they were getting. And D'Amico Ryans, I asked him today about how they evaluate offensive linemen, what they look for, how much is it mental, how much is it physical, like the ability to do what they have. Do they have the ability to do what you are asking them to do? And he has expanded on that. We'll get into that. But that decision is it seems like malpractice to me, honestly. And it goes to the conversation on the offensive side of the ball. Are these guys putting the players in the best position to have success? Do you believe that every game you go out there, like, hey, we have a chance against a good team? You can do it against the Jaguars. You can do it against a horribly beat up Ravens team, the Titans twice, a bad Broncos offense, but a good team nonetheless that you lose to. Are you giving your team the best chance to win every week? Do you guys as fans feel like they are? Because I have never seen so many coaching decisions be just so bad so often on one side of the ball. And I usually don't question playing time because you don't know what a player knows. You don't know what their knowledge is of the playbook. Like, the coaches see what's going on in practice. They know what they're asking of the players. But that's a self-admission of a horrible mistake in starting City So, because it only lasted 9 plays. So with that being said, let's get into Davis Mills. And here we go. What are the stuff behind you? Cool stuff. Neat stuff.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. First, I'll start just by saying for this week, CJ, Emi, and Jalen Petre will be out.
That's the motto.
Fire away.
Say
What
that.
are you looking to see from Davis now that he's getting a second week in a row?
For this week, I'm looking for Davis just to continue to improve. I thought he went out and did a nice job leading us to a victory on last week. Just looking for him to go out, execute the offense the proper way, get us in the proper calls, and just do his job to the best of his ability.
When you think about your offensive linemen and the options that you guys have, are there particular skill sets that are necessary that maybe this guy has, this guy doesn't have, that makes them a better fit with some of the other guys on the line?
So obviously that question is like, what is it that you saw in City So? Because clearly we don't see it. But to be fair, y'all didn't see it after 9 plays either.
For our offensive line, we're looking for whatever gives us the best chance, the best opportunity to go out and play good football up front, communicate, be on the same page, do what we're asking guys to do, and play good football. That's what we're asking to do. So whoever's out there, that's all I want to see.
We go on Sunday. Tay talked about Trent Brown and how much he has helped him, and he also talked about just overall the line. He said it's really been about communication. Can you just talk about the growth of him as a rookie, especially in such a key position, how much he's grown?
Yeah, Tay has done a really nice job in. It kind of goes missing at times when you understand that a rookie is playing left tackle. Really tough position. He's done a good job being steady. I mean, early on, he had some mistakes, things that happen, that's a given for a rookie. But he's steady. He's been steady the entire time, and that's what I appreciate about him. Like, he's not too high, not too low. He's even keel, executing his job, and having a guy like Trent who's done it for a long time to help him, give him some pointers. I think that's very beneficial to the rookies, and that's very beneficial for our entire league when you have veteran guys who are willing to share, willing to help guys out. Now, they'll give you the information. Now, those guys have to go out and still perform, but it's very helpful. That's how, all the young guys, myself included, coming into the league, you really lean into the veterans and what they're able to teach you. So I'm happy for those guys to build that relationship, and hopefully it continues to flourish.
What is it going to take to be able to stop Tennessee's defensive front, especially the defensive line?
Yeah, Tennessee's defensive line is the strength of their entire team. We know the guys inside are really great players. They can wreck a play at any given time. So to do that, we just have to play with awareness up front. We got to play with toughness. We're going to have to grind. Simmons is a really great player. He's going to play hard each and every snap. There is no let up in him, so we have to outcompete him as best we can, knowing that, he's going to make some plays, right? We got to weather the storm. We got to keep moving forward. We can't allow one play to get us down. We just have to keep pressing. We have to keep mixing it up offensively, running our offense the proper way.
What
Miles
is it
Bryant,
about?
he's played nickel, he's played safety, he's played outside corner. Obviously, a versatile player. What are some things you see that allows him to be versatile?
Miles is a really smart player.
Yeah, the secondary for the Texans now beat up without MJ Stewart, Jalen Petrie, obviously Jimmy Ward not back yet. So they're gonna have to figure some things out. Obviously, they're lucky with the fact that they got the Titans this week when they're the most beat up that they've been in this stretch between the Jaguars and Titans.
That's why he's able to do multiple things, multiple spots. He's a guy you can trust, a guy you can count on, whatever the situation is. Even if Miles doesn't practice a position, if there's a guy I'm going to throw out there at any given time, it's going to be Miles Bryant because he's sharp in the classroom, he's sharp on the field, and he's always going to be where he's supposed to be.
What is it about Danielle Hunter that has made him valuable for this defense?
Danielle is arguably one of the best pass rushers in the history of the game. Like he's shown that time and time again. He's been on the tear here lately. I mean, he's done a fantastic job. And the thing that really sets him apart is when he's exploding off the ball, he's playing with speed to power, right? It's tough to block, really tough to block. And it's really not just him alone. He does have a nice move, but when the guys in the interior are pushing the pocket and really not allowing the quarterback to step up, that's when we're capable of getting the sacks and closing the deal. So Danielle's done a really fantastic job, not just now, but his entire career.
Looking ahead a little bit, how obviously you guys have a Thursday night game next week. With the concussion protocol, how difficult can it be for someone that hasn't, whoever it is, generally speaking, difficult to kind of clear on a short week? Just kind of looking a little ahead.
And when it comes to the concussion protocol, it's every guy is different. So it's a day-to-day process. So I'm not looking to next week and trying to predict what that looks like. I'm looking at the day-to-day process to see, where guys are.
You've often talked about kind of the willingness of the offensive lineman to do what you're asking them to do. When you are evaluating, how much of that is the ability to do it, and then like the want and desire, the mental side of like wanting to do it?
Yeah, everybody wants to do it, right? Guys that are in this league, they're in this league because they want to do it, and some guys are better players in this league because.
So, I don't necessarily buy that only because not everybody wants to move bodies A to B necessarily. Some guys really want to be great pass rushers. Some guys aren't as physical as mean because D'Amico admitted that they wanted to revamp their offensive line this offseason to become meaner, become nastier, become more physical, become a better run team. So, maybe that's why they started City So. I don't know. Maybe that's what they thought they were getting. I don't know. They never addressed it because they skirted around it every time we asked them.
They do it better. That's just the nature of where we are. Some guys are better at doing some things than others. So you continue to try to, one thing, you find guys that have the mental toughness, right? And that position there is it's about technique. It's about communication. It's about, not having any grenades go off and just really like being sound and disciplined. That's the one position that you have to be locked in every single snap, right? The picture changes a lot. Defensively, they have a lot of moving pictures, a lot of things that happen up front that guys have to communicate. You have to expect things to change. So with those guys up front, you have to be smart, you got to be physical, you got to be tough.
Under the next man up reality of the league, is Graham Mertz your number two, and how has he progressed if he is since he's joined?
Graham Mertz obviously is a second string quarterback. I wasn't sure exactly who would be. They don't dress another one. I don't think, not that I know of. So Graham Mertz is definitely the number two, unless they would avoid him at all costs and go to someone that I'm not aware of. Maybe you guys can tell me.
As a rookie.
Yeah, Graham has continued to progress, do a good job. He's been running our scout team for the past 2 weeks, and he's done a really good job. Made a really nice throw out there today. He made a really nice play on a seam throw. He's progressing, doing really well. He's taking the mental reps while he's not in physically. When our ones are up, he's back, standing behind, right, Davis, taking that rep. Continue to ask him questions. Hey, what are you doing in this situation? What's your read? Just keeping him mentally in tune because we can't give him those reps.
You have some guys who are going to start, so their preparation doesn't change. As a coach, is there any extra appreciation when you have guys like Miles, Trent, even Davis to a certain point that they likely aren't going to play in certain weeks, but they're able to contribute when you need them most?
For those guys, if you're call it a backup in this league, I'm always impressed with backups because you get the least amount of reps. When your name is called, you're expected to go out there and do it just as if you got all the reps. So it's unfair to the backups in a sense, but also if you are a backup, like what's your preparation like in the background? It has to be spot on. You have to be on top of. You have to have that A+ mentality, right? When you're in the classroom, you're studying at home because you know you're not getting that rep physically. So those mental reps have to kick up, and you have to dominate every rep you get.
Man, I like that answer so much because it's like a pinch hitter. You know, you're in the tunnel throughout the game. You're staying locked in. Like mentally, it's hard to stay involved in a game at all times when you're not playing, no matter the sport. And then when you're called in to go in and play and start and make big plays, especially on a team like the Texans, where you're expecting to win week in and week out. You need the wins now more than ever in order to get back into that playoff picture and be on the in the hunt graphic. Like, it's hard, and those guys don't get the credit because they're not stars. They don't get the attention like Davis Mills is going to get. They're not going to get the attention like Woody Marks or like Nico Collins or Kamari Lassiter or Sheldon Rankins on the fumble recovery for a touchdown. So it's a really tough position to be in for guys that aren't starters to go in on a pinch, especially in the middle of a game if somebody gets hurt. So I like that answer a lot from D'Amico.
How have you seen Cam Ward grow from the first time you saw him earlier this season?
Yeah, I think where Cam has grown to me, where it's early on, seeing a lot where he was running out of the back of the pocket, trying to make the big play a lot, where you see him trying to settle down. I think offensively, they'll try to settle things down here after the bye week, kind of, not try to take the big plays as much and try to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands a little quicker. So I think that's where the coaching staff will come in and try to help him to settle down even more.
Question last week. How important has a guy like Aziz been to just add to the team? Well, obviously been both years, but just having him on the team from a personality standpoint, from a team chemistry standpoint, how vital has he been just for his overall?
So DJ Bieniemy of ESPN is doing a story right now on Aziz Al-Shaair, and I'm not sure exactly the angle entirely, but mostly about kind of his leadership, who he is as a human being on the field versus off the field. And the answer we got from Matt Burke, the defensive coordinator, yesterday was fantastic. This answer you're about to hear here on D'Amico Ryans is awesome. And I just want to say, like, anybody that's gotten to know Aziz Al-Shaair knows that he is a gentle giant. He is a sweetheart of a man. He is very kind, a very good human being. And I know obviously what happens is that when people see him, if they don't know him, they see him on the field. He's extremely violent. He plays the game up to a line. I don't think that he's dirty at all. I think he's extremely physical. He's extremely violent. He plays a old school style football, but not dirty. Him and Denzel Perryman are the two most physical linebackers in the NFL right now. And Perryman is a former Texan as well. And then, of course, like his politics and his religion get lumped into what people think of him as well, which is obviously extremely unfair because him as a human being, I think there's not a teammate that has ever said anything negative about Aziz Al-Shaair as a human being and the way he treats his teammates, friends, family, so on and so forth. And so I don't know where this story is coming out of BJ Bieniemy, but I would recommend you go take a look at it when he does do that.
Yeah, man, Aziz is the glue. Right, he's the heartbeat. He's the glue of our team. Like, he keeps this thing together. Without him, I'm not sure where we would be. Without his leadership, without his mindset, how he shows up every single day, the passion that he brings, the wisdom that he brings to the locker room, out on the field, just like man, I can't say enough great things about Aziz. I love the person who he is and how he's grown and matured, and I'm thankful that he's here in our locker room. Of course, I love the player, I love the mentality, but the locker room, the man that he is and what he stands for, what he represents, like, there's not a better guy, I'd say, in this league than Aziz.
Last week you showed the video of Danny Williams, his shoulder being popped out and him finishing that heavyweight fight and never quitting on certain moments. That really resonated with a lot of the team, and they said so when we interviewed them after the win. Is there a Saturday night video or film that you're thinking about for this week heading into this one at all?
Yeah, I can't tell you guys all that. No. It's for me, it's everything for me is like it's in that moment. It's like what I'm feeling at that point in time. So it's not that I have things planned out a week at a time of what I'm showing the guy. I get a pulse of our team, get a feel for where we are, how the week went, and what our guys need to hear in that moment. So I'm not just pre-planning things and showing like when things hit me the right way, I sleep on it. It's in my heart to show the guys, and I feel like it'll resonate with them. That's what I'll show them.
Obviously, it's not the goal, but just to get back to 500, that benchmark, what does that mean for you guys? Is it important?
We want to win the football game. That's the most important thing. Really don't care about all. It's just, can we win a football game? And what does that take? Like, it takes guys having that will to go win, that determination and go finish. It takes guys being locked in on their assignments, doing it to the best of their ability, and again, not blinking. 4 quarters of disciplined football and finishing. That's all that matters to me.
Coach, with the league always pushing towards more safety in the game, especially about protecting quarterbacks. This is the second time in CJ's career he's had to deal with concussions, and then there's other, franchise star quarterbacks around the league that has dealt with concussions throughout their career as well. Could you see the league potentially moving towards making the quarterbacks wear the guardian caps just to protect them from concussion protocol?
When it comes to the protection of the quarterbacks, I think the league has done a good job of really changing the position-specific helmets. So quarterbacks actually have a position-specific helmet that's
Did you guys know this, that there's different helmets for each position?
designed to help them, right, limit the concussions or the impact once they hit the ground, right? And if we had to take it a step further to the guardian cap as well, I think for me and for everybody, man, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure these guys are as healthy as possible. Whatever team you're on, whoever you play for, it's about the person first and foremost, and you never want to see anybody, especially battle the concussions, right? That's a delicate situation, and you don't want to see guys go through it. It's tough watching guys have to go through that, and so whatever we have to do, and I know it's, you play a physical game, some things you can't, truly control how that impact happens, but I think the league's done a good job of changing the position-specific helmets for the lineman, for the quarterback, and they continue to advance and progress the helmet protocol to make sure we have the safest equipment possible.
And I just want to say, with you being able to.
All right, that's the end of D'Amico for everything. Yeah, I think D'Amico was like super coach speak today. Didn't shine a whole lot of things, and he and Nick Caley yesterday skirted around the kind of the questions of how do you figure out who do you want to start, what do you look for when you're looking at your starters on the offensive line. Why was City so asked to be a starter? What went into that? I asked Nick Caley that and didn't get much of an answer. So this was the starting lineup against the Jaguars. Obviously, City So is not going to be in there. I don't expect Trent Brown to be in there, presuming both Titus Howard and Ed Ingram are back. So this is what I expect it to look like. Blake Fisher, it's fine. I'm never talking about an offensive line if I had listed a jumbo package 6 offensive lineman, but I believe the Texans run jumbo package the most in the NFL. So it's worthy of mention. But obviously, Tay on the left side with Jarrett Patterson, Jake Andrews at center, Ed Ingram back at right guard, and Titus Howard at right tackle. What do you guys think? Ed Ingram's he's trending towards starting from what we've been told. And D'Amico Ryans did not rule him out today like he did rule out Jalen Petrie, Ka'imi Fairbairn, and CJ Stroud. So this is what I think the offensive line will be. I don't know if that's what they're going to do because they don't always do what we think and everyone else thinks they should and could do. So that's my guess. The concussion thing's interesting from D'Amico Ryans because I think the NFL's got to change this some way, somehow. I like that I didn't know that they had position-specific helmets from a safety standpoint. But I will say I don't like the sliding rule. It leaves the quarterback vulnerable. It's not actually protecting the quarterback because those plays just happen so damn fast that when they go down, their head is exposed, their chest is open, and they can just get popped by accident or on purpose. And it's just it's a bad place to put the guy in that you want to protect the most. And I think they're trying. I just don't like it. I don't know how you go about it. Maybe you just outrule it. And like you just duck and cover because if you don't duck and cover, you're going to get absolutely smoked versus the sliding. I think the slide is just such a vulnerable give up position. It's not really like playing possum. I rather just see them like just kind of tuck and roll, or I don't know, or just once you're outside the pocket, let's play some football, y'all. But I know that's not going to be the route they go. But the concussions, like he mentioned as well, these guys trying to get over concussions is impossible to figure out because one guy can get over it in 3 days, another guy takes 2 weeks, someone else takes a year. We saw Sid Crosby, for anybody that's a hockey fan, he was out for more than a year with concussion situations. And your balance, Clint Frazier, who played for the Indians and then was traded to the Yankees and then to the White Sox, he had a bright future ahead of him and then ran into the wall. And I talked to him when I was in Charlotte. He was playing for AAA White Sox at that point. And he said that when he was with the Yankees, he ran into the wall so hard, he had a concussion that he couldn't sleep. He was vomiting constantly. He couldn't get his balance. Like his entire athletic ability was basically gone for almost a year because of what happens to you. And Titus Howard in this interview that I'll show you that we talked to him in the locker room today talks about some of the stuff he went through and just how tough that is to really get over. And there's nothing to do. Titus will tell you what he did, but you really just want to give your brain a rest. That's the only thing you can do. It's not like you sit in the cold tub, you go get therapy, you get the muscle gun on you, whatever it might be. It's nothing like that. You kind of got to wait it out. You got to be super disciplined to not get antsy, get busy, and start doing things you shouldn't be doing, because then you're starting right back over from where you were. So here's Titus Howard, Texans, hopefully starting right tackle, him talking about it.
A little long process last week, but I'm glad to be back.
What symptoms did you go through? What was it like? Everybody's concussions are different.
Sick, throwing up, headaches all night, can't sleep. So, but I recovered pretty fast, so I feel good.
For him to be saying that, laughing with a big old smile, couldn't sleep, throwing up, headaches all night, just violent vomiting. That sucks.
You guys have seen that defensive front that D'Amico calls the strength of the Tennessee Titans. What type of things can you take from that last game that brings you into this one?
If we have them in front, we should be good. Those guys got talented defensive front. They play hard and physical.
Shout out Greg Bailey.
We can handle those guys up front. We'll be good on offense.
The most important thing for you guys now is just consistency on offense. What did you see when you watched the Jags game that you like, that you believe you can do going forward?
Everybody up front was just playing good, playing fast.
I asked a lot of guys this question this week, including the coaches, because I think that's one of the more important things right now is what did you do? Here, hold on. I'm about to sneeze. Let this pass, I guess. Okay, I think we're good to go. So the Texans, it's so important for them right now to find out what they did in that Jaguars game that they liked and how they can do that, not only against the Titans, because they're going to have a lot of success, ideally, against the Titans, but how do you utilize that going forward against the Buffalo Bills on Thursday Night Football or the Kansas City Chiefs after that? That's when this is going to be extremely important, because you've got to figure out who you are. Trent Brown, he said it after the game when I talked to him in the locker room. He said, hopefully today we helped find our identity a little bit. Dude, it's week 11, guys. We got to find that identity. So what did they do against the Jaguars that they liked? A lot of the answers, here's Titus's answer.
They were playing together. It seemed like everybody was knowing where they were supposed to go, and it was able to help the offense, especially in the fourth quarter. Those guys played phenomenal up front. Kudos to them. They put in the work all week last week. Those guys worked hard all week. And, Davis was getting the ball out pretty fast, helping the guys out. It's just a good offense. It was really smooth. And so we can build all that because, Jacksonville had a good front too. And those guys, played their ass off. So, it's kudos to them, and we can keep it going and build all that for the rest of the season.
Pause. We're going to come back to this because there's a lot of love right now for the Texans, and rightfully so. 19-point comeback, absolutely massive. It's a win you had to have. You went and got it, and it's fun as hell. But the offensive line play wasn't exactly very good. They ran the ball well, which they deserve credit for, but they allowed the most pressures that they have all season long in 22. I mean, that's 5 more than their worst game against the Seahawks this season. Like, that's hardly a good pass blocking game by the offensive line. I know that they were hurt with Ed Ingram and Titus Howard out. So you do get a little bit of grace to some capacity, but eventually you got to be able to perform even when the guys are out, because that's the way the NFL works. Guys are going to end up being out, and that's up to Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans to get the right guys in the roster to where you can still perform when it's next man up. So here's the pressure rate, nearly 45%. I mean, every time Davis Mills dropped back, he had pressure in his face, nearly 45%. That's your worst of the season as well. Your second worst was week 1. So you progressively got better, as you can see, week 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, a slight tick up week 5, which is interesting against Ravens, and then not very good against the Seahawks, back down to the Niners, and then you ticked up against the Broncos, who have a very good defense, but still like respectable at 27%. I mean, 45% is no way to live life if you're Davis Mills or CJ Stroud. Quarterbacks aren't going to have great success, and that's why I made sure that we give all that credit and a bunch of credit to the run game to set up Davis Mills as much as you could, and then the throws that Davis made under pressure, stepping into contact. He was awesome, and he deserves all that credit. Now, can they do it again? Because the Titans do have a good defensive line. Despite them being a really bad football team, they do have the ability to get after the quarterback.
Sorry, but I know you weren't out there, but like just to be able to have success offensively in a year that you guys have struggled, like how good does it feel to see your boys go out there and contribute to a win finally?
Oh, man. See, I also love this question. This is why I keep asking all the players about this as well, because it's like you just want to see the ball go through the hoop as a basketball player. You just need to see that first one go down. And once you see some success on the offensive side of the ball, you can start building on it. And not only that, but it happens in a win. It can happen in a situation where you can enjoy your production. You can enjoy the win and also not feel like, oh my God, we still didn't contribute. We still can't get anything going, but we won. So that's nice. But like, let's be real here. The offense hasn't been good. They were good against the Jaguars when they needed to be in the fourth quarter, and they got the win. Like, that's big just mentally to kind of have that in your pocket now going forward.
I was on the sideline, so I was able to see it right there in live action. I was happy, man, to see the success of the team, see the success of the offensive line, knowing that those guys played the way they played. It was phenomenal, man. Just like I said, when I got in this week, I told those guys, I know I didn't play, but that's something, I'm trying to build off too, which I'll put on film.
What's it like to Davis for 2-3 years?
4 years.
4 years.
Yep.
Is he as quiet as they say, or just gonna get the right side of you?
No, David's not quiet at all, but he's a good dude, man. I'm happy to be his locker mate. Me and Davis been here. David's one of the longest tenure guys on the team, so I've known him for a long time. I always known what he was capable of doing, so it's great to see him be successful, and I'm hoping he continue to do that.
What's it like watching Trent Brown play right tackle?
Oh man, Trent's massive.
Yeah.
Trent's always been a great player. He's one of the best guys when I came into the league. One of the guys I looked up to playing, just watching his film, and him being a vet, one of the older guys on the offensive line. I still come to him asking him for help, for advice on stuff I'm going through on the field and stuff like that. So it was no doubt that when he got in, he was going to be able to play at a high level.
Is it interesting to watch? Because I know y'all are bigger guys, but he's huge. Is that?
Nah, man. Trent's the biggest guy I ever seen, other than Shaq. No, Shaq came here last year, bro. Trent is just as big as Shaq, so it's crazy.
You ever play against Julius Peppers?
I haven't, but I did see him in the Hall of Fame last year. He is a pretty big DN.
I'm telling you all, Julius Peppers, I got to know him a little bit when I was in Carolina. That is the biggest, massive human being I've ever seen in any sport at any time. It is insane, the size of Julius Peppers.
That's crazy.
You mentioned your symptoms, and it sounded pretty bad. Was that frightening to you to be dealing? I mean, I know injuries are part of the game, but those kind of symptoms seem really scary.
Yeah, I had a concussion in 2021, 2022. So I kind of knew what I was getting into. So the process, like you said, is a tough situation to go to. So it's not something you can rush back from. It's all symptom-based. So, when you start feeling good and your symptoms start going away, that's kind of how the concussion protocol, you can't be all right, we're just going to rest this guy for a week. because you rush for a week, then you come back and do something, and then you're like, oh yeah, I got the symptoms back. You start the process all over. So you kind of like got to wait till those symptoms kind of like go away for a couple of days to even start the process of doing something.
You have to sit in dark rooms? Sorry, I thought you were...
Yeah, just try to stay away from too much light. Just try to get a brain a break. So I was able to do that, and I feel good these past couple of days, so I'm happy to be cleared.
Yeah, very happy.
I don't know, man. We'll see. That's up to the coaches. I'm just here, doing my job, so we'll see how they go.
He was asked what position he prefers to play, tackle or guard. I forgot to fix the audio on this. My bad.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, good to have Titus Howard back. It's interesting. He used to hate playing guard. He used to refuse. He was a tackle. That's all he wanted to play. And in the recent years, I actually have an interview on Kicking It with Kunkel with him. I talked to him outside the locker room, a one-on-one conversation, kind of what went into that and why he changed his mind of being flexible and doing what the team wanted to do. I'm sure it's a little bit of both, that he wants to win and he wants to be like the best abilities availability. And if your best position is a guard for that team, you want to be available to play guard, and you want to be amenable. You want to do what the team wants to do and needs to do. Talked to Will Anderson briefly afterwards as well. Let's get to him real quick. This is pretty short.
I think it's just the consistency that we've been having, all season long, like getting off to the side, working the rush. And we was literally just after practice working, and we was talking to Nico. It's like the little things that we do after practice, the little things that we do, during practice on the side is like it's going to start showing up in the game. So like I think it's just the consistent of keep going through your process, having fun with your process, and watching the consistency show up throughout the whole year. I think that's what like makes us great as a D-line.
When you,
well, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Will.
Can I get one?
Yeah, I got you.
When you do have success, how much do you have to change for the next game because everyone's watching film versus like, hey, let's do all that again?
I don't think you really have to change. I think you keep going through your same process. I think you want to probably have a change up here and there, but at the end of the day, your process is your process. And like I think one thing that I've learned as a young rusher, don't stop doing anything that's been working for you for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like until somebody stops you from doing that, then you want to add a switch up. But man, keep going through your process, keep being consistent, and just keep working your craft to get better.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer from Will, because a lot of people don't understand that pass rushing, as much as it is physical from a speed and strength standpoint, yes, it's a big-time mental game. It's a lot like pitching from that standpoint, because you can't just use the bull rush every time. You can't just use the inside spin move or the outside spin move or the hook. You can't just do the same thing over and over again. And that's kind of what I was asking him. Like, all right, you and Daniil have had some great success. And when you get to the quarterback as often as you do in 1 week, do you do that again? Like, do you just like, all right, like that's working, let's hammer that? Or do you switch it up because the other team watches film? They're seeing, okay, you're going with this bull rush all the time now. This is how we're going to stop you on the bull rush. And his answer is good. Like, if it's working, stick with it until it's not. Do what you do well. Don't change for somebody else. Like, it's like when Mark Wohlers, the pitcher for the Braves, lost by throwing a slider to Jim Leyritz. His best pitch was a fastball. Like, dude, in that situation, throw a fastball, brother. Throw your best pitch. Don't lose on your second best pitch or your third best pitch. So if you're Will Anderson or Daniil Hunter or pass rushers, it's a mental game, but do what you do best until they stop it, and then have stuff in your bag. Have other moves in your bag that you can go to when they take away your ability to bull rush or your inside-outside spin move, whatever it might be. I mean, we saw Daniil Hunter do like a Euro step at one point to get to the quarterback. Like, he's got moves out the wazoo at this point. That's why he's so freaking fun to watch, and that's how you get 3.5 sacks or 31.5 yards and 7 tackles, 4 QB hits, and 4 tackles for losses, and a forced fumble to earn the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. The guy was unbelievable against the Jaguars. But I thought that was an interesting answer from Will Anderson. And talking to defensive ends can be fun when you talk to them about their craft, because it's not see ball, get ball, see player, hit player. There's much more of a mental game to rushing the passer than a lot of people think. Let's get to Nico Collins, because Nico Collins was not targeted in the second half of the Broncos game. That brought a lot of questions to Nick Caley. He's obviously their best player. He's been very good. You see this stat. He's recorded 7 receptions for a season high, 136 yards, marking his 11th career 100-yard receiving game. That was coming after the Jaguars game, of course. When he's involved, he's so freaking good, and he makes this team that much better. And he needs to get the ball as much as possible. He had 15 targets against the Jaguars. That's tying a career high. It's not that he's not getting the ball, but I'm just curious because there's a perception that wide receivers are divas. And I think that really stemmed, and there are some, obviously, but that really stemmed from Odell Beckham Jr., Chad Ochocinco or Chad Johnson, Terrell Owens. Like that era of wide receivers were just loud mouths, me, look at me and get me. I need to get mine. They drew a lot of attention on the sideline. And that's really stuck with wide receivers throughout the years, unfortunately. Nico Collins is not that guy. And he's not that guy genuinely. It's not like he just puts on a good face and a brave face. But I asked him, like, when you're not getting your targets, how do you handle that? Because there's a balance of, like, I need my targets and, like, I just want to do what the team's asking me to do and not raise a stink. And then we're going to get to Davis Mills here in a little bit because I love the answer he gave me on a question I asked him as well. So first, let's go with Nico Collins in the locker room today.
Little division on the road this week, so this game means a lot, man. But I'm excited that Tan's back there, man. He knows that we have his back. Just building his confidence and looking for a win.
What did you like that you did in the Sorry, Christy. Go ahead.
What do you think will be a key to starting off better than you guys did last week, so you don't have to come back from 19 points?
Yeah, just stay on track, man. Just take one play at a time. Starting fast. When your opportunity comes, just make the most of it.
Do you feel like Davis maybe, I know he's played a lot in the past, but he hasn't played a lot in a while. Do you think maybe he gained some confidence from what he was able to do there?
No, most definitely. Especially, I feel like that'll give me confidence, and especially you come down, we were down like that and come back with a win, you bring us back, man. But definitely, I feel like that definitely gave him confidence a lot. But it's only right we go out this week and continue to give him confidence and give us confidence as a team and as a unit to go out and win.
You had 15 targets last week, a career high for you. When you're not getting your targets,
I know that.
How do you approach?
He didn't even know he had 15 targets, by the way. That kind of it feeds right into exactly how he answers this and who he is.
Not getting your targets. How do you handle when you're not getting your targets?
I know that.
How do you approach not getting your targets? How do you handle those conversations being like, hey guys, I am the best playmaker out here?
I really don't see it like that. I just see it, man, just continue to get open, continue to run the right route, and continue to show that you're out there getting open, and just let the ball come to you, I don't find that that's not me. Sometimes it might get a little frustrating, but you continue to do you. I feel like once you get frustrated is everything else is go downhill, So, and it's a team sport, you know what I'm saying? It's not about me, it's not about yards, you know what I'm saying? It's not about targets. I just want to win at the end of the day, and take care of your business, take care of the details. The target's gonna come, the play's gonna come. So, in order for me, man, I just want to win. That's my biggest goal.
To that point, did anything else happen differently in this game for you to get it, or was it just all about the Jaguars letting you be open?
Nah, it was just a normal game, man. They was out there just finding the right opportunity to give me the ball, finding getting everybody the ball. But yeah, I didn't know I had 15 targets. It didn't even feel like I had 15 targets, to be honest with you. But I just made the most of my opportunity.
Man, like if you're a coach, if you're a father or mother of a young wide receiver, if you're a young wide receiver and you see that, like pass that on. That's exactly how you need to approach it, because the more you draw attention, the more you cause an uproar. It's first of all, it's bad for you. Second of all, it's bad for you in another way, because now your quarterback feels pressure to get you the ball or doesn't want to get you the ball because you're a pain in the ass. Or they're going to force you the ball, throw interceptions. You're not going to win. You're not going to get the ball anyway. Like the way he talked about that, the way he handled that to Nico Collins is just such a credit to who he is and how great he is for this team as well with his mindset.
A team that's struggling, that's only one win. Is it?
Yeah.
How do you guard against, underestimating them or not, maybe just feeling like, oh, this could be an easy win?
Oh no, you can't take nobody for granted in this league, and you can't do that. That's how you lose. That's rule number one. Everybody's great in this league. That's the reason why everybody's here. But I feel like for us, man, we gotta continue to grow, continue to find the things we need to improve on as a unit, and get ready for Tennessee this week.
So more focusing on yourself than the other team. Is that kind of what it is every week?
Yeah, always focus on yourself. It's always about you. Always.
How would you describe how calm Davis is? Everybody's talking about calm. How would you describe that?
Yeah, man. Just calm and collected. It's really just not making the moment bigger than what it is. Just going out and just leading the way you should. You know, as a quarterback, that's what you want to do. You want to go out and lead, and he's showing that every single day. You know, he's been showing that since he got here. You know, we both came in together, man, but he always been that guy, you know, so it's just amazing. I'm just proud of him, happy to see him out here, man, just building his confidence, you know, doing what he loves, you know, and just making the most of his opportunity.
Have you ever seen him rattle?
Nah, never. Even when the moment high, even at his lowest, you know, he's still the same.
Appreciate it.
He kind of talked on it there, but this season in particular is so much about the Texans and the Texans, what they do, their execution, how they prepare for games, what the game plan is, who they're starting, like what their goal is in the game, and just their ability to be a good football team. It's not about who they're playing as much, even though you've seen the dips and how they've played has been, they've performed well against bad teams and not so well against good teams. They got to start finding that identity that I talked about, and they got to start making this mostly about them, because when they do what they do well, they're a much better football team than what they put on paper. But the narrative is what the narrative is at this point. And I put a video out about that the last episode here on Kicking It with Kunkel, which, by the way, if you're watching somewhere else, not on YouTube, just help me out. Go to YouTube, please, and click the link and go to Kicking It with Kunkel, subscribe, and like the video and comment. But this season's narrative is that they have a good football team and they have a great defense. They have an offense that has let them down. They've let down the team from being as good as they are. And now we're starting to wonder, or at least I'm starting to wonder, and a lot of people are, is do they have a special teams problem? Because Frank Ross has built very good special teams over the year. And we're now seeing that they are not very good. They're not consistent. They've had splash plays, which you want, but you want to just remain even keel and like good and fine. No grenades, as D'Amico Ryan says, throughout the season, and then like an occasional spike of a great play. I understand there's going to be some downs, but there's been far too many, especially this game against the Jaguars. You cannot have that punt return or the fumble, the punt return for a touchdown. Like you're having the penalties on Danico Autry, who's been so great as a field goal blocker that keeps the Jaguars offense on the field and forces the defense to hold them to a field goal again. Like, that's the stuff that you can't have. This team isn't good enough to overcome a bad offensive performance and a bad special teams performance. They've already lost 2 games in which they've won the turnover battle, shout out to the defense, and have blocked a field goal, shout out to special teams, but the offense wasn't able to get anything going. They lose both those games. Historically in the NFL, if you win the turnover battle, like, you're good to go. You're going to get the win. But you win the turnover battle and you get a special teams like splash play like they have a couple times and you still lose, it speaks volumes about that third phase of the football team, the offense, not being able to do anything. So they've got to get out of the realm of the offense holding this team back. And now if they're trying to overcome the special teams as well, I mean, they're in big time trouble. Let's get to Davis Mills.
Davis, D'Amico just was talking about how the confidence they have in you to QB1 again on Sunday. How much did this last game, if anything, kind of give you sort of a comfort zone, having had a chance to prepare for the start?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously going out and winning games adds to your confidence and comfortability out there. But, I mean, I think every week's different. We got another tough opponent. Looking forward to Tennessee this weekend. And, I mean, we got to prepare extremely well this week and go out there and execute. That's all it boils down to. So that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what we're trying to do throughout the week.
Nico Collins had 15
Hey, don't get mad at this next stat I'm about to pop up. The stat's the stat, okay?
targets the game on Sunday, the season high, tied his career high. Is that something that is built in? Hey, we want to get Nico the football, or is that just hey, you see it from the spot? You know how good Nico is. You try to get him the ball. What kind of goes into getting him that many looks?
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, a little bit of both of that. I think they were giving us some looks where he was isolated in one-on-one coverage, and we liked the matchup. And then there were other things where we were trying to scheme him to get him open. Nico is extremely explosive with the ball in his hand, and I mean, as many times we can get him the ball, good things usually happen for us. So, and it also, if defenses start covering him, it opens up a lot of our other guys too. So I think when he's playing well, I think our whole offense is going to do well. But I mean, I don't think anything was forced. It was just Nico's going to make a play. He's open. He's running good routes. He's on time. My offensive line's doing a great job protecting. So, yeah, obviously we want to try to get him the ball.
A little bit to that point. I know everything's like a game to game, but what did you like that you guys did as a unit that you can carry over to the next week to kind of get the unit as a whole to keep going and be more consistent?
Yeah, I thought we did a really good job just operating in and out of the huddle, getting up to the line fast.
It sounds simple, but that's big, especially when you have two linemen out, you have a new quarterback, and you're going through stuff with your OC for the first time. Like, I think that's super important. We talked about the beginning of the season with CJ in the offense, so it's certainly important in Week 11 with Davis Mills and a backup and some other backups out there as well.
We were able to kind of get in some advantageous looks, especially in the run game, but in the pass game as well with some play action stuff. I think that, works for us every defense. And then a lot of it was just kind of going back and leaning on a lot of comfort pass concepts and then having twist off of them, making a lot of different things look the same. That's kind of what we leaned into and what I was talking with Kales about last week about what I kind of wanted from it. And
catch that right there, the conversation he had with Kales, Nick Caley. There's a follow-up question I have in a little bit to Davis Mills about that, and I love his answer to it. So just kind of keep that in your head.
He was able to put a really good plan together, and we were able to go out and execute that.
This season, you and CJ, of course, have used your legs more to get out of the pocket. Even on your touchdown run, you was able to slide up a little bit, and then we've seen the end results. Has there been an emphasis in Nick Caley's offense for you all to be able to use your legs more, or get out of the pocket quicker?
Yeah, we have moved the pockets and ways to get us out of the pocket that are designed, and then a big thing that Gerard's been talking to us about in the QB room is always pushing forward in the pocket. Nothing really good ever happens when you're escaping outside the tackles. You get a lot of holding penalties or guys falling off late, and you end up getting sacked or have to throw it away. So the more you can command up through the pocket, the defense kind of will sometimes fall off their guy and come up and try to get you, and as long as you remain a passer, you can find someone open in your progression. Or, you can take off and get the free yards that the defense getting you and get down. So I think really moving up in the pocket and kind of letting the rush develop and being able to access the defense like internally is usually advantageous.
That's so true, and it's so good. You love to hear that. That's like even at the NFL level, like Gerard Johnson, the quarterback coach, hammering the fact like step up in that pocket. And we saw Davis Mills do such a great job doing that in this game. Stepping into contact, stepping into hits, and making throws while in the pocket versus when you bail out, like you said, off the backside. What happens is you step out. Let's see if I can get a little bigger here. The pocket builds around you, and you step up into it versus lefty. That's why. So versus you're like, oh my God, you feel a little pressure and you kind of bail out and go this way or bail out and go that way, depending on where the pressure's coming from. Just let the pressure build backwards. Let the tackles push those guys outwards. Because once you over pursue as a defensive end, it's easier for the tackles to push you out that way. They lose contain, and then you can step up as a quarterback and can see your reads. And sometimes that opens up throwing lanes, and it also opens up running lanes as well. So it sounds like fundamentals, but it's so important even at this level to still bang that stuff home.
On that run, what made you come out of the pocket like that? Was it because you seen the backs of the defenders?
It was kind of just like you're not looking at the rush when you're dropping back. I'm looking through my progression and at my receivers and the space in the defense, and kind of feel the people around you. And I felt something off my right edge as space was opening up to my left. So kind of just naturally start moving that way. And as I'm moving, it kind of just opened up, and I saw no one was really playing me, and I could take off.
Touch on this. Go ahead.
You talked about the Tennessee game 2 years ago where they went with Case kind of motivating you. Is there any like extra, I don't know, just feelings, the fact that you get that opportunity now to go back to that place where that area of motivation took place?
No, I mean, that's in the past. I'm really focused on what's going to happen this week. We got another tough opponent, like I said before, and we got to execute our game plan at a high level if we want to go out and win this thing.
Kind of touched on it and talking with Kaylee about what you like, but as a backup quarterback, how much input do you have? How much does he go to you, like week to?
So listen to this question that I asked him, because I asked, you'll hear the question, but CJ Stroud and Davis Mills are completely different quarterbacks, but Davis Mills is only going to play like week to week in spot starts. He's only going to play when CJ Stroud is down, so you don't want to cater the entire offense around Davis Mills. However, you need to be able to cater at least some of the offense around him as the season goes on throughout, but then also really try to cater to him, obviously, when he's starting. Like, how do you go about that without changing the entire offense if Davis doesn't like what they're running? And what's that conversation like? Is Nick Caley open to like changing it, or is it like, this is kind of the way we do it and we need you to be able to do it because this is our offense?
High level if we want to go out and win this.
Touched on it and talking with Kaylee about what you like, but as a backup quarterback, how much input do you have? How much does he go to you, like week to week? Like, how much do you change? Like, what's that relationship like as a backup?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the strengths of our quarterback room. I think everyone has a very open dialogue, and we talk through pretty much all the play calls that are going in the plan and people's comfort levels. And I mean, even when I wasn't playing and CJ was taking all the snaps throughout the game, there's still kind of some dialogue to make sure if you ever get thrown in there, like, what are some of your favorites as well, because anything can happen on game day. So I think that's something that just as a room, and most quarterback rooms throughout the league probably do that as well. But I think I've said it before, I don't think he has an ego at all. He's open to really trying anything, and as long as it works and as long as it's sound football-wise, he's willing to take a shot. And I think, I mean, the way we can build things off of what we've shown on tape and keep getting better as an offense, I mean, everyone's willing to strive for.
I think that's cool insight from Nick Caley and how the process works, and how Davis Mills, even though he's a backup, still has say in the offense, and Nick wants to know what he likes because, God forbid, right then and there, you're in the game because CJ's out, which is exactly what happened. So I think that is a cool insight.
What's the challenge in going against a team that you've already faced this year, who knows your tendencies, and how do you not look past a team that doesn't have a great record?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about in the team meeting today and watching film, like, these guys play hard. The record is what it is, but I mean, they're coming out. There's NFL players on that team as well. They're paid to do the job, and just like we are, so we know they're talented and have the capability of winning the game. But we got to go out and execute and play at a really high level and kind of take things in our own hands to go out there and to try to win this game. We can't sit back and start off slow and try to fall into something. We got to be the aggressors and go out there and execute.
That is an absolute must in this game. And it's a must kind of going forward for the rest of the season. The Texans have to impose their will on the teams going forward. They can't sit back and kind of wait, feel things out. And meanwhile, the other teams are throwing their punches. And then you're trying to like bob and weave and throw your counter punch. Like, no, you got to come out, especially against the Titans. You got to go up quickly on these boys because you cannot allow a bad team like the Titans hang around. They did that the first time. They had to have a late win against the Titans. That cannot happen again. I think the Texans have gotten better since then. But having said that, they struggle when the pass rush gets through or has a good pass rush, the other team does, and that's where the Texans really struggle. So hopefully it doesn't happen here because, my gosh, you lose this game, forget about it, but you need to go out there. You need to start proving some stuff, not to us, not to me, but to yourself. The Texans need to start proving to themselves that they can ass beat when they want to ass beat and they want to take that belt out there.
From that, I mean, as you said, the record is what it is. Obviously, last time you were a full-time starter in 2022, obviously the Texans record wasn't the best. So how much can you lean on that experience as to, because that year you guys, majority of the weeks, played hard, did everything you guys could to get the win. So how much can you lean on that as like a reminder that this team isn't just going to lay over for you guys to win?
Yeah, it's a lot of that. It's also what I said. I mean, everyone every player in the NFL is extremely talented. They wouldn't be in their position if they weren't. So, I mean, anything can happen. We got to go out there and not worry about the other team's record and go out there and play a really good football team and focus on ourselves, and the results will come.
Davis, you all were able to overcome that deficit in the fourth quarter, but that's probably not a position that you want to be in. Like, how do you learn from that game on things not to do to not be in that position?
Yeah, exactly. We got to go out there and start fast, be efficient, move the ball, and score points in the red zone. Keep drives alive on third down, but ultimately it comes down to scoring more points than the other team, and it's nice when you can do that early in the game and start running the ball later in the game and burning clock and getting 4-minute mode and rely on your defense to keep getting you the ball back so you can burn more time. So, I mean, that's ideal, but anything can happen on game day, like I said, but I think a big part of it is starting fast and going out there and scoring more points.
What are some of the things that you think that you can do to help the offensive line this week going up against such a ferocious and aggressive defensive line?
I mean, a big thing, my job is going to be getting the ball out on time, finding the quiet spot in the pocket where they can really set their blocks and anchor, and just communicate. Our offensive line, especially Jake at center, does a great job doing that, but I'm echoing all the calls and getting the ball out on time where some of their tougher blocks might not be so tough because the ball's already out. So I'm going to try to help them out, but when there's plays where I need to hold on the ball to let routes develop, we're going to try to protect as best we can and get the ball up. So I think it goes both ways, but I think just playing efficiently and taking what the defense has given me should help those guys.
We got time for a few more, y'all.
Post-game, Dalton said it seemed like you were too calm, almost like he needed you to speak up a little bit to hear the plays. This week, have you been able to, anyway, feel a little bit more comfortable with this role going into it, and how has that communication with you guys in the huddle, maybe in any way gotten a little louder?
Yeah, I think some of it is credit to our fans at NRG being quiet when we're on offense, and I was communicating in the huddle, and I didn't want to say something too loud or the defense can hear me because they're only standing 5 yards away. So, take that with a grain of salt, but I think a big part of it is just like communicating really well, making sure everybody knows the plan and knows their job once we're in the huddle, and breaking it and getting up there and going to execute. So I wouldn't say I'm not uncomfortable and I'm whispering out there, but it's funny. It's funny that happened.
To follow up on that, a lot of other offensive players said the same thing about your demeanor, and you stay calm, you stay cool. So what does get Davis Mills rattled? Does anything?
Not much. I've kind of always had that mindset, just being calm. I've always been pretty analytical, where stuff that happens in the past, doesn't bother me too much. I can't do anything about it. And I'm ready to kind of attack what's ahead and what's in the current moment. It's funny, my wife used to get mad at me sometimes. She'd ask me a question or kind of want to argue a little bit, and I wouldn't react. She's like, "Why are you not mad?" I was like, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. So.
Thank you. That's how you got into Stanford.
In your last two starts, both have been memorable, unpowerful wins and comeback and things of that nature. What?
Last question.
Just from your recollection, what is it like to be in those type of games where you do kind of pull off an improbable comeback?
It's fun. The game's not over till the clock says 0, so I've never had the mindset where you're giving up or going out there to get through it. You're going out there to win the game every play. That's the biggest thing. Not a lot of guys in the NFL lay down when they're losing, especially this past week. Everyone is extremely confident in our abilities, and we think we can beat anybody. So that's the mindset we have every snap.
That's it for Davis Mills. Good media availability from him when usually he's kind of boring, milquetoast, and it doesn't say a whole lot. I thought he gave some good insights and some good answers and showed some personality at the podium today with his personality. So the biggest thing going into this Titans game is we got to get this number, that 44%, down in the 20s. That cannot be up there. Just a bad game against the Jaguars. I understand the guys that are hurt, but at some point you can't point to the injuries because every team now has injuries. Those pressures, they got to come back down at the worst, like back to 13. I mean, that's kind of been their median all year long, somewhere between 13, 14. They've had some lows. So, 17 too high against the Seahawks as well. So can't have your worst games this late in the season, and especially against bad teams. So I appreciate everybody chiming in. I appreciate all the comments. I would like to see more Jalen Noel. I would like to see more Nico Collins targeted like he was against the Jaguars. I would like to see the right offensive line starting. By the way, this would be my pick for the offensive line. That's who I would like to see start. I think we're done experimenting in games. I don't understand why we're experimenting in games experiments that last 9 plays, which is what happened with this offensive line with City So. Just like, what are we doing? How is that possible at this level that you're doing that? So I appreciate everybody. If you haven't, please share to the channel with your friends and family, and hell, share it with your enemies. It's fine with me. I appreciate all the likes, all the comments, the subscriptions, the super chats, you guys name it. Thank you again for tuning in tonight, and we'll have some more throughout the week as well. And always, we'll have a post-game show on Sunday, faux show. But make sure you tune in and check out. Okay, what Dyson says, what we think and what they actually do on Sunday. Yeah, like I think they're going to do that. I don't know that there's any other places to go, but here, like I don't know what else you do. Unless, of course, Ed or Titus, whatever he's, I think Titus is playing, but unless Ed can't play, which I think he is, I meant to cut out the injury report from today. Ed Ingram was limited, so he's trending in the right direction. So I think he'll end up playing. That did not participate was Harrison Bryant, the tight end, Kaimi Fairbairn, Jalen Petrie, Dalton Schultz, who had illness/shoulder. He'll play. He's played through everything. And, of course, C.J. Stroud. Limited was Danico Autry, Jake Hansen, Ed Ingram, and Cade Stover. Cade Stover coming back soon. That'll be necessary for this team just because Dalton's been so good, but, it's a lot on his shoulders. Getting some help in that tight end room will be great. So I think that's what they should do. I don't know if they're going to end up doing that, but I don't know where else you turn at this point, honestly. Maybe Trent Brown at right, but I doubt it. So anyway, that's going to do it. Subscribe, like, share, pass it on, post about it, retweet me on X, posting the links and stuff. I always appreciate you guys' help. I can't do this without y'all. I mean, if I do it without y'all, I'm just literally sitting here in my guest room talking to myself. So yeah, that's it. Peace, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Have a good night. God bless.